for the season finale in International GT Open. Race number 1 of the weekend about to get underway. Welcome to Barcelona, everyone. A warm Barcelona it is indeed. My name is Chris McCarthy. Thank you very much for joining us. This is the first race of the weekend, a 70-minute race coming up for you live from Barcelona here this afternoon. There you can have a look down the start-finish straight, 24 degrees, just like it was yesterday. Warm temperatures, given we are now in the back end of October. And it's going to be a great race, I'm sure of that. The 59 there, one of the big players in this race. We are tied for points at the top of the championship. It may not look like way for anyone that has actually looked at the points, but how the point system works in International GT Open, you drop your lowest race score. And after the lowest scores from our 2 championship leaders are dropped, they are tied on 100 points. Miguel Ramos and Enrique Chavez in the 59. Their consistency means that they drop 8 points. Pret and Abril, after they DNF'd in that very first race of the season when there was an incident on the opening lap, here they are in the Ferrari. There you can see them coming out of the pits. They drop no points, meaning the 2 are tied on 100 points. Ulick and Eastwood, they are just 13 points back, and they are going to be on pole position in that Aston Martin for the start of race number 1. So it is very close at the top. 2 tied for the lead, one of them being the number 17 here, which is going to start on the front row. Abril will be in that Ferrari to start the race. Also in the Pro-Am class, we are very close as well. Marcelo Hahn is just 3 points ahead of Klein and Kaprinski. Once we drop scores, then only 8 points back is Nick Moss. His teammate Joe Osborne a further 3 back, and then 14 points back is Brendan Erieb and Ollie Milroy. There is a man who can crown himself champion today, by the way. Aldo Vestante in the 51 in the GT Cup Open Europe Championship just needs to beat Daniel Diaz Varela and Menno Cerqueda, and he will become champion. We've got some new cars into this one, some returning ones as well, but some cars we haven't seen so far this season. Here's one we haven't seen at all in International GT Open in our 15 seasons, the Honda NSX Evo. We've seen the Honda NSX, but we haven't seen it in its Evo version, and that is going to be taking part today. Beautiful car, isn't it? Jazz Motorsport bringing that along for us. One of their development drivers is going to be alongside Jens Renault Moller. That's going to be young Reese Barr. He will take over the car for the second half of the race once pit stops are completed. We have the golden Lamborghini back to have a play. I'm sure you're going to enjoy seeing that one. Lord Yves Gosselin is going to be in the car for that. ACA ASP are also back in the 61. Mauro Ricci will start in that car. Jerome Policand will be the one that takes over at pit stops. There's the car that is trying to chase down the championship leaders in Pro-Am. Christian Klein and Patrick Kaprinski. Christian's going to start the race, and he started on the second row. Last time they were up this far on the grid, they won a race. They won the very first race of the season. I spoke to them about that yesterday, actually. We'll talk more about that as we get along to the race, because I did ask Patrick, how on earth did you get such a good restart? Anyone with good memory will remember what I'm talking about. We'll talk a little bit more about that throughout the race. Here's the golden Lambo. It sounds as good as it looks. I promise you that, as I was going around the circuit and watching the cars go around different parts of the circuit, this being one of them, this exact part here between turns 12 and 13. Thanks to Stefan for bringing me round. One of our camera operators. Was a really good experience. But let's go through the grid. TF Sport are going to be on pole position just like they were back in 2015 here with Sally Ulick and Ewan Hankey on that day starting from pole position. Today Charlie Eastwood is going to be the man who takes it before handing over to Sally. Starting alongside him on the grid is going to be Vincent Abril. There you can see Louis Pret. He will take over the car once Vincent comes into the pits. Tied on points with Miguel Ramos and Enrique Chavez. And they've put themselves in a very good position. Also in a title fight is Christian Klein and Patrick Kaprinski. Christian's going to start the race for JP Motorsport today. Brand new team looking to win on their very first season. Ollie Milroy is going to start on the outside of row number 2. They've been in good form recently, he and Brendan Erieb, who's been getting quicker and quicker as the season goes on. Can they get their first class win today? Yannick Mettler and Fabrizio Crestani, 3 podiums in the last 2 races, looking to continue what has been fantastic consistency since returning after their break at Red Bull Ring. They have scored the most points of anyone, of Yannick Mettler and Fabrizio Crestani. Here is our championship leaders. Officially, Miguel Ramos and Enrique Chavez. Miguel did not feel that confident when I spoke to him yesterday, and his times displayed that today. 1.7 back from pole position. Let's see if he can turn things around in the race. Stefan Ortelli is going to be 7th. I think he would have been a little bit higher had he not been delayed in qualifying. Made a little bit of a mistake on his last lap as well, but I think worn tyres would have played a part in that. He starts 7th. Alongside is Nick Moss. Nick Moss doing a very good job in the championship, particularly in the second half. He's flown towards the 2 leaders, really closed the gap down, and now he's just 8 points back. There's Joe Osborne just talking to him, giving him some pre-match advice. Next we come to Jens Renaud Moller, who's going to start in the Honda NSX Evo. See what Jens can do in this one. He and Reese Barr doing a good job so far this weekend. They start 9th. Marcelo Hahn, leader in the Pro-Am class. Only 3 points gap, though, over Christian Kleen, who starts all the way up in 3rd place. So this could be damage limitation today. There is Alam Koder. Thumbs up from him. He felt confident when I spoke to him yesterday. Very happy to be back. 3 seconds and a first for him so far this season. Mauro Ricci is going to be 11th for the Acura ASP squad. Great to see them back. They like to come and have a play here, as do these guys. They raced with us in this event last year. Claude-Yves Gosselin is going to start from 12th place. Beautiful looking car. You won't miss that one throughout the race. Aldo Vestante can become champion today in GT Cup Open Europe. He's going to start on pole position in class, looking to take what will be 6 wins in a row if he can do it today. Looking to stop that, though, is Manuel Cerqueda, the Vaporo Motorsport team. This their home race. Likewise for Daniel Diaz Varela, Catalan-based team. So just a few kilometres down the road. Let's see if they can get a home win. Great to see Albert Estregas back for the first time since Paul Ricard had very good pace in that Trans Am Eurocar. Let's see if he can turn it into a podium today. Alberto De Martin, podium at Spa. They're going to start on the outside of the 3rd row in that class. That is your grid set, all the cars out there ready to go. Here's what happened when we were racing at Spa. It was the Bentley that led us from pole position after a fantastic performance in qualifying. Tom Canning to the right-hand side with Oman Racing with TF Sport. Got a little bit of a bad start, but they would make up ground. They would drop to 5th place early doors, but they would come flying back through the order as the race went on. Aldo Vestante would lead the way in GT Cup Open Europe. Would be hard work, though. You see him chasing down Manuel Cerqueda there. Eventually he would get through side by side through Eau Rouge. We did that on multiple occasions, just like we do in International GT. Here was the battle for the lead, though. The number 17 Ferrari there, eventually getting past the Bentley. Then we had Aldo Vestante go through to take the lead from Manuel Cerqueda there after pit stops. Joe Osborne giving him a hand to do that. But out front, coming out of the final corner, it would be the Ferrari that took the win in style there, as Abril and Pret came across the line to take their 4th win of the season. We went racing again on Sunday, Ferrari leading us from the front. Then it was McLaren versus Aston Martin behind the red. Aston Martin there trying to go around the outside, unable to get through was Eastwood on that occasion. Unfortunately, Andrew Negro, after contact, would go off at on the first lap of the race. A shame for them, given how well they qualified. The Bentley was trying to make places through. There you can see it going past the Optimum Motorsport. We had a couple of incidents throughout the race, unfortunately, but no such dramas out front for the number 59. Championship-wise, a very crucial result as Chavez and Ramos came across the line to take their 2nd win of the season, and a huge relief. Here we go then for race number 1, cars on the warm-up lap. Let's remind you of how they are going to start. Eastwood and Abril are going to be on the front row, 2 of the title contenders. Clean, likewise a title contender there in 3rd place. He's going to be alongside Ollie Milroy. Yannick Mettler and Miguel Ramos will be on row number 3. Behind that then we have Stefan Ortelli. as the car's now just coming downhill into turn number 5. Beautiful part of the circuit to go and watch from this, I have to say. We're on the formation lap currently. See Aldo Vistante going through picture. Here is Manuel Cerqueda and Daniel Diaz Varela. Local team, home driver as well, so a win would feel very, very good for them. They haven't won since Paul Ricard. Let's see if they can do it today. It's the 6th and final round of the championship. It's been a great season so far. Let's see if we can end it just as good as we started it. Dramatic circumstances, unpredictability. International GT Open has given us everything so far this season, and it's even given us 2 championship leaders tied on points after drop score for the lead, and a chasing team just 13 points back. And that team, the red Aston Martin with Charlie Eastwood in the car. It's going to start from pole position. Vincent Abril nearest to us as we look down at the cars. And then we've got the second in Pro-Am in the gold and black Mercedes. Christian Clean, ex-F1 driver, starts the race for them. Nervous faces, perhaps, as we watch on getting ready for the start. The Terra Martin Motorsport running the 2 McLarens leading each class. Big day for them today. But this, the first race of 2, 70-minute race, and Eastwood's going to lead us round to get the race underway. He now controlling the pace as we make our way onto the start-finish line. As we look down the start-finish straight, it will be Eastwood to the left of your screen and Abril to the right of your screen. We get ready to go for 70 minutes of racing as we now go up to the line, and the lights go green. Across the line we go, and Eastwood, a good start from him. He will lead us as we go in towards turn number 1. Abril slotting in the slipstream. Is he going to try and move down the inside, down the outside, I wonder? Ollie Milroy looks to have settled into 3rd place as the cars now tip their way in. The green and black Optimum car struggling a little bit at the start here. That looks to be Nick Moss. I don't know if there's any problems with that car, but no such problems for your top 3. Clean has dropped down to 4th place, so a change of lead straight away in Pro-Am. 3rd in queue, that is Ollie Milroy leading the way in the Pro-Am class, and leading overall is Charlie Eastwood ahead of Vincent Abril. Aldo Vistante there in the 51, side by side with Manuel Cerqueda. Already they're fighting with each other in the GT Cup Open Euro class. Leading in the AM class is Mauro Ricci for ACA ASP. Clock's now ticking. 28 minutes into the races when we will see driver changes. Pit lane will be open for 14 minutes, but leading the way so far, they'll be looking to get a gap, is the TF Sports Aston Martin of Charlie Eastwood. There's the Honda NSX Evo. Currently that's running just inside the top 10. Jens Rano Muller in that car. As we now go in towards turn number 10, this is going to be one of the overtaking spots throughout the race. I'm sure we'll see plenty of it. No overtaking on the first lap as everyone gets themselves settled into the race, but I'm sure that won't be the case throughout. So there you can see the Bentley. Yannick Mettler starting the race today. He's currently running in 7th place. Will be looking to gain places. He's lost a little bit of ground at the start, so left himself just a little bit of work to do. He's behind. That looks to be Stefan Ortelli as we pick now the 48 up in picture as we go on to the start-finish straight. And it's Eastwood from Abril, Milroy, Clean, Ramos, Ortelli, Mettler, Moss, Renault Moller. Then we have Hahn, Ritchie, Yves Gosselin, Vistante, Cerqueda, Astregas, and then De Martin. The Bentley just trying to have a look up the inside of the Ferrari. Not able to get through. Plenty of time to get some places done. But Yannick Mettler, after a difficult start, looking to try and gain back some ground. This is Nick Moss. Now, Nick Moss starting 8th, so I'm going to assume that Nick Moss had perhaps felt he jumped the start and was giving places back going down the straight because he was slowing. And I think it's what kind of confused me for a bit, because he almost looked to be ahead of Milroy, which would not have made sense, but I'd say he was giving places back and he's now held position. So actually a good start from Nick Moss there, who is in with a shout to potentially take the Pro-Am title if things are to go his way. Here's a look back at the start then. The Lights go green there. And racing. It was a clean start at the front. Abriel came across to get into the toe of Eastwood, and he then got back to the racing line, and we were off away in racing. Leroy got a good start, and he slotted straight past Christian Clean. But other than that, all good. There was Marcelo Hahn, the one running over the curbs on the inside, our leader in Pro-Am, so he's got to be careful. But we've got slight queue forming here. Milroy in third place now, having pressure from Clean and others. He's got Miguel Ramos in there. There is Miguel Ramos in the 59. Behind that as well, Stefan Ortelli in the Ferrari. Ortelli, someone we know, if you remember, Monza. He was the hard charger there, put on a really good show for us, made some great moves. And I feel Stefan Ortelli is about to do the same. Here's Nick Moss in the green and black McLaren with the Honda NSX Evo. Jens Moller behind that as we now tilt our way in towards turn number 1. So here it is, Moss versus Moller. No changes there so far, but Ortelli in the Ferrari here, about to potentially make a move on the McLaren as we now head down towards turn number 4. That's Ramos, of course, and he can do with not losing any positions here. He's gained a couple, so he's had a good start to the race. He's gone from 6th to 5th at the start, so he'll be happy without Miguel. But he's got Stefan Ortelli behind, who will be eager to make some ground after the pace he showed in practice yesterday. He was very quick, was Stefan Ortelli, and we shouldn't be surprised at that. Around turn 9 and now down towards turn number 10. Milroy looks to be upping his pace here, and the only one able to hold on with him in that battle for third is Christian Clean. Miguel Ramos dropping back. Here we are on board with our leader, Charlie Eastwood. There we go now, back to this battle between Ramos and Ortelli, and Ramos looks to really be struggling in that McLaren now. Here you can see that's the 48 of Ortelli, Ramos just ahead of him. And he's definitely struggling a little bit here. I wonder if he's been having to do some slight defending. An ever so defensive line going into the chicane there as well. Ortelli trying to get a good run now coming on to the start-finish straight. Metler a second back from this as we now head down the start-finish straight. Got to be careful of running wide. I saw a couple of people doing that in practice, running wide at that final corner. Very easy to do. Here's Nick Moss trying to hold off Moller. Down the start-finish straight they go. We're going to have driver changes from between 24 minutes in, from 28, sorry, to 42 minutes. That's when we will have the driver changes. 22 minutes left before that will start. And that can often change the race dramatically. So 22 minutes, that's when after the driver changes stop, that's often where we know where we are. Now, in terms of handicap, there is a handicap system in International GT Open. Everyone excusing GT Cup Open Europe, which is being led by Aldo Vistante. All of our GT Open runners will all be on 70-second stops, bar Nick Moss, who has to stay in the pit lane for 80 seconds. Miguel Ramos has to stay in for 85, as does his championship rival Abriel. Eastwood and Metler have to stay in for 80 seconds. So our two championship leaders, exactly the same situation when it comes to pit stops, which is good to see from a neutral point of view. But bad news if you're Ramos at the moment, because he's already lost about 4 seconds to Abriel. Here's Ortelli now making his way round. It looks like Ramos has been giving us a slight bit of breathing space. Let's pick up what's going on in GT Cup Open Europe. If it finishes as it is, Aldo Vistante will become champion. There you can see Manos Cerqueda, Albert Estragas, some 6.7 seconds back in that Trans-Am Eurocar. Home race for these guys, though. They'll be keen to try and get a win, but Vistante is on a winning streak that just can't be stopped so far. 5 in a row for him. He's only had one race that he has finished where he hasn't won, and that was the very first race of the season. Of course, Paul Ricard, he and Jean Font collided in the first race, so Aldo Vistante did not win that one either. But mostly when he's had a clean race, he's gone and won them. The first race, he just seemed to, after the pit stops, just seemed to lose a little bit of pace. But we could excuse that, given it was his first race of the season. Here's Milroy and Clean. Spoke to Clean yesterday, feels he's in a car very suited to this track in that Mercedes. And they're in that championship fight as well, but it was great to have a chat with him. He chasing Ollie Milroy, seemed fairly confident. I bumped into him just before the race. So far, so good, because I'd say from the second row, his plan was to go get on the attack, get past Clean if he could in the first lap. That's what he said to me, that he had his eyes on getting through at the first corner. He's done that, so first part of the race that's mission complete, but now he's got to try and keep Clean behind him before pit stops. Milroy will be handing over to Brendan Erebe, and Clean will be handing over to Patrick Kaprinsky, two drivers there who are very inexperienced and are developing at a rapid pace, both of them. Behind, we've got a good battle going on between Ramos and Ortelli. So battle for Pro-Am lead in picture. Behind is our championship leader in the McLaren, under pressure from the Ferrari, which is in no championship battle at all. Stefan Ortelli just running a little bit wide there was Ramos, and you can tell he's definitely struggling out there. Didn't feel the McLaren was suited to this circuit. Just didn't feel he had got the feel in the car that he was after, and that is certainly showing at the moment. But it's not about winning today, it's just about winning the championship. As Clean looking left and right, oh dear, he's tagged Ollie Milroy, and Ollie Milroy's gone round. Drama in the Pro-Am class there, and Christian Clean going into the back of Ollie Milroy. Ollie Milroy's going to get going again, and Clean looks like he was trying to avoid that incident. I think he got his braking all wrong. So you can see here Christian Clean had thought about a move. There he's backing out of it, turning right, and unfortunately didn't back out in time. And Ollie Milroy, the innocent victim there, he has been turned around from the lead of the Pro-Am class. So one of our championship contenders there in an incident, and that would be good news for Marcelo Hahn, who's all the way down in 10th place and currently leads Christian Clean by 3 points. Round they go. You can see the Drivers' Championship. That's before the drop scores to the bottom right of your picture. But Chavez and Ramos have to drop 8 points. Brett and Abril don't have to drop anything as we now make our way down towards the first corner. You can see Eastwood here leading Vincent Abril. Clean in 3rd place, but is there going to be a penalty coming his way? Already it's come under investigation, so the stewards are looking into it. And Christian Clean, I think, might have damage. He's running wide here, Christian Clean, just running wide through turn 1. Has he got damage to that car? I wonder, or is he just a little bit rattled in that car? He's still in 3rd place. Ramos has come all the way up into 4th place as a result of this. So this has worked very well for one of the drivers in contention for the title. Bad news if you're the likes of Abril and Eastwood. So Ramos now up to 4th place, and if any penalties go the way of Christian Clean, he will go up to 3rd. Here we have a look at it, and is that just Christian Clean running a bit too wide, I wonder, and just trying to stop himself from running over that first chicane and maybe adding another penalty to what he already has. Now, where's Ollie Milroy dropped to? He's dropped to 7th place, and he is 8 tenths behind Yannick Mettler. There's Stefan Ortelli. This is working in his favour slightly as well. He's now gained a couple of positions in the background. There you can see the Bentley and the McLaren in behind it, 5th in the queue as we look at it. That's Ollie Milroy trying to get places back. That's not the first time those guys have been turned round either. They had this at Spa, the last corner, the last lap, 2nd in class, and Nick Foster essentially went straight into the side of them, turned Brendan Erebe round. Sadly, the similar things have happened to Ollie Milroy here. I don't think it was anything intentional about it. Christian just got his braking wrong and was trying to move to the right just to stop himself from going into the back of Ollie Milroy, but unfortunately didn't get out of the way in time. So Clean in 3rd, Ramos in 4th. Ortelli 5th, Mettler 6th, Milroy 7th then. Nick Moss 6 seconds behind that in 8th place, and Miguel Ramos, I think this would have given him a real boost of confidence. It looked like it has. He's just done a personal best, a 147.5, and that's only a 10th of what Abriel did on the last lap. Here's a replay of Manel Cercada coming through turn number 9 and going wide, so very easy to do at that corner, and he's brought gravel all back onto the circuit, and that could catch 1 or 2 people out when they hit the brakes down at turn number 10. Claude Gosselin putting the pressure on Mauro Ricci here as they come through turn number 3. Here's your leader out of Estante. That small off from Cercada has only extended his lead to over 3 seconds now. His way down towards turn number 3. So championship-wise, it's obviously working in Abriel's favour. He's going to score sort of point system to run you through it. 15 for a win, 12 for second, 10 for third, and then 8th you get 4th, 5th you get 6 points. So currently Miguel Ramos is scoring 8 points there to add to what is 100 for him after drop scores. That brings him up to 108. And then we have Abriel, who is in 2nd place. He and Pret, they are going to score 12 points, so there will be a 4 points advantage for Abriel going into tomorrow. 55 minutes left on the clock. Can Cercada close this gap back down on Vestante? Teams watching on as you see Daniel Diaz-Varela, home race for him. Manel Cercada, a slight mistake, but still running and still in with a chance, pit stop wise for them. Alvaro Vestante has to stay in the pits for 175 seconds. And Manel Cercada, when he hands over to Daniel Diaz-Varela, only has to stay in for 170. So they have a 5 seconds buffer there, and with 3.7 seconds back, they will still come out ahead of Aldo Vestante when we go into the pit lane and do the driver swaps. The interesting part is Albert Estregas only has to stay in for 150, so currently he will be your leader coming out of the driver changes, which happen in 12 minutes, but the guys ahead have 12 minutes to open that gap back up. Here's Miguel Ramos versus Stefan Ortelli. It appears that Ramos has just dropped off again slightly and into the clutches of Ortelli. Either that or Ortelli is upping his pace. Of course, these guys are going to have to manage the tyres around here. Very heavy on the tyres is this circuit. Speaking to one of the guys at TF Sport about it, and you've just got to try and keep them the whole distance, which is not very easy to do. Here, a look at the replay. So this is Eastwood, who, as much as he'll want to get on the attack and extend that lead he has, which is now 7.5 seconds, he's got to be wary of wearing the tyres out too much. But so far, so good. You have to say, fantastic performance, really. We've been so focused on what's going on ahead of them, but I didn't really realise the gap was that large. But it's almost 8 seconds now between Eastwood and Abriel. And Eastwood, in his interview earlier, for anyone who wasn't with us for qualifying or who didn't see it, Eastwood said, this is the plan. Try and get pole position today and try and win to bring us into contention for the championship fight, so at least we have a chance going in to tomorrow. And their 13-point deficit is going to come down. They're going to close in by 3 points over Abriel if the race were to finish as it is. And then Ramos, they would close in by 7 points. So it would still be, they'd still need luck going their way and bad luck going the way of others, but they would be in with a chance, both mathematically and relatively. They would have a pretty good chance there. So here's our battle for 6th place, Mettler and Milroy. Milroy, who's going to be frustrated in that car. It's not the first time, as I said, that something like this has happened to these guys. But now it's just about trying to get their heads down and trying to move back through the order as much as they can. They're still within reach of the likes of Ramos, who is up in 4th place. Driver changes will happen in just under 10 minutes' time. We've got a yellow flag over at turn 8, so I'm not too sure if we've got a car off there, but there is a yellow flag at turn 8, and it's the golden Lamborghini, sadly. Let's see what happens. Takes too much speed downhill. Oh, in fact, it's on the exit, actually. Just a little bit too eager on the throttle there, and Claude-Yves Gosselin has unfortunately been turned around, and it looks like he might be stuck there because the drivers, a notice has come up for the drivers to keep left. So I wonder if we have a car, that car stranded there. You can see Gosselin to the left of your screen, now 15th place. So dropping down the order. Oh yeah, look, you can really see that car is potentially might have to be recovered there. And if so, are we going to see a safety car, I wonder, which would be bad news for Eastwood. Abril, the 8.6 second gap would close in immediately. As up ahead, that's clean going past some traffic, so that is clean going past Alberto De Martin. And safety car has been deployed. Safety car is out to retrieve that golden Lambo, and that is going to change things quite dramatically. They can see the marshals getting to work straight away, but Abril's 8-second gap that he had to chase has now come down, and the whole field are going to close in again. This is good news for Optimum Motorsport, and just as the safety car is deployed, that car gets going again, so we won't have a safety car for very long at all. 1 lap, if that, unless there's any work that needs to be doing 2 parts of the circuit, but it could just be 1 lap for that safety car, but it was in a dangerous position, so it was necessary for this to happen. And for the Optimum Motorsport guys, Ollie Milroy now has more of a chance to make more positions, so I'd say good news for those guys, but certainly bad news for Eastwood. Abril likewise, good news for Ramos. For those of us who are not cheering for anyone, neutrals, I'd say a safety car in the mix is always something that we like to see sometimes. Brings the pack all together again. So the safety car will be straight back in. I can see the Claude-Yves Gosselin has just gone past my commentary box, so he will be at the back of this queue. This is not good news for Aldo Vistante. This is great news for Astragas and De Martin, by the way, given they are going to be in the pits 20 seconds less than Vistante and Cerqueda. This is fantastic news for them. 6 minutes and 40 seconds until the pit window opens, and Eastwood now has a huge task. I'm pretty sure that unless the tyres really drop off, that he'll probably stay out for as long as he can until we get to the 42-minute mark. So that would leave him about 20 minutes to try and pull out a gap again, but it's whether the tyres can last that long, as Eastwood will now control the pace of the field. We ride on board with him here. There you can see the safety car up ahead of us. It will now make its way back into the pits. 48 minutes on the clock. Things in the championship changing all the time. Eastwood is 13 points back after drop scores from Ramos. Abril and Ramos tied on points coming into this, which would mean if the flag went now, then Abril would lead by 4 points into tomorrow. Long way to go though, 47.5 minutes, and Eastwood has got his foot down already, and a good start from him. 3-4 car lengths already over the rest of the field. The top 4 have gone. 5th backwards were asleep at the start, it seems. Yeah, you can see, look at the top three, they're absolutely flying here. Confusion at the back, it's because we had a GT Cup Open Europe car, I think, that was in the mix there. That was Alberto De Martin, and that has created a huge gap there. Miguel Ramos, fourth place, is now coming under huge pressure from the Ferrari of Stefan Ortelli, and he's gone wide under braking. Here comes Stefan Ortelli, and he's going to go through Miguel Ramos. Now he's passed by Yannick Mettler in the Bentley as well. Ollie Milroy trying to get past now as he dives to the inside. Ollie Milroy's going to be alongside with Miguel Ramos as they round turn number 3, and Ollie Milroy has found a gap where there didn't look to be one, and he's now going to take that place going in towards turn number 4. Miguel Ramos trying to fight around the outside, but Milroy's going to take the place, and the other Optimum car now just behind. Nick Moss is going to try and get behind. We haven't seen much of it, but you can see the white and black Honda NSX Evo on his first race in the championship, briefly side by side with Nick Moss. Well, the restart there has kept the top 3 together, but it's created a huge gap between 3rd and 4th place. Alberto De Martin was in that, on 4th on track, and he just a little bit slow to get to the line, and there you can see the gap it's created from Clean back to Ortelli now, who runs in 4th place. So once again, luck swinging back in the way of Eastwood and Abril here, who have got themselves up at the head of the field. But it seemed that all things were going well for the Teo Martin Motorsport team, who run those leading McLarens in the title race. But they have now work to do with Ramos down in 7th place, and that would become their drop score if this happens. Their worst result so far is 4th, so that would effectively become their drop score. In towards the first corner we go. If that does become their drop score, they go back to 108 points. Abril and Pret can't afford to drop any points, but this second would take them up to 112, and that would give them a 4-point advantage still going in towards tomorrow, so it would still make things very close. Consistency for Ramos and Chavez could help them in the championship here. Of course it will. Consistency is always key. But let's go back to what's going on track for now. We've got Milroy versus Mettler here. Bentley versus McLaren coming downhill in towards turn number 7. And Milroy trying his best to take advantage here. So that was Ramos running wide there. Ortelli's going to say thank you very much and go through. Mettler likewise. Just got it all wrong, Miguel Ramos, and then the more impressive move was probably the Milroy one behind, as the AF course guys. So we've got Mettler, Milroy and Ramos in that order. The Bentley, you can't miss it. There's Ramos, and that looks to be Enrique Chavez getting ready to take over the car. So I think they're ready for a pretty early pit stop here. 2 minutes, just under that in fact, until we can do it. Do the swaps as now they make their way down the start-finish straight. So without drop scores, you can see without the drop scores, we're dead level on points on 112. But when we bring the worst result of each driver drops, that's where the gap will be created of 4 points in the favour of Pret and Abril. So close in the championship. After all we've had so far, it's going to be a real showdown both for the rest of this race and indeed tomorrow. There's Ramos in picture. Will be frustrated, no doubt. But we had a safety car and perhaps a loss of tyre temperature there for Miguel Ramos caused that incident. Perhaps the pressure as well. Here's Aldo Vestante. Of course, this wouldn't have worked in his favour. You know, as there's Manuel Cerqueda behind, who is being passed. Oh, down the inside is the 61 of Mauro Ricci. Oh no, and Manuel Cerqueda running wide there. I think Ricci had got it a little bit wrong under braking, and Cercada with nowhere to go but the grass. So that's going to give Verstappen a lead once again. Estragas is 20 seconds back. We are going to be able to do pit stops the next time they come up to the line, because in 12 seconds the pit window will open. I can see the teams making their way downhill, so some teams won't be able to make it in. Some will have to go round. Charlie Eastwood's come across the line already, but officially they can now come in. So there you can see straight away Miguel Ramos with the car crawling over to the right-hand side, and he is going to be first into the pit lane. Will anyone follow him? Here we saw Milroy just trying to get past Yannick Mettler. The Honda NSX Evo is in, so Moller is going to hand over to Reese Barr. Marcelo Hahn is in to hand over to Alam Coder as well. 85 seconds is how long Miguel Ramos and Enrique Chavez have to spend in pit lane. For Marcelo Hahn, it is 70. Alan Coder will now jump in the car. When he's been partnered with Marcelo Hahn, 3 seconds in class and a first as well. That pit stop would have helped Alan Coder's task a little bit of trying to get up the order and close the gap to the likes of Clean. The restart has come under investigation, by the way, so the stewards are just looking at it. Any more updates than that, and I will let you know. Here's Eastwood. I don't expect him to come in. 13 minutes remaining until the pit window closes, so he'll get a few more laps if he does indeed decide to stay out. There's the ASP guys. Jerome Policant, team manager, is now going to jump in. Great pace from him yesterday. He was third in one of the practice sessions. And that's overall, not in class. The AM title, by the way, we've not talked about that. That's because it was wrapped up last time. And congratulations to our champions, Get Speed Performance, who took that title. Fantastic job did Jens Lieberhauser, Florian Schultz. They took the title last time. Sadly, Alexei Nezov and Alexander Mosiv had that big shunt and weren't able to take part. If they're watching, guys, and great performance from you both. And Jens and Florian, if you're watching, congratulations. But they're not with us for this round. They wrapped up the title, and they have decided to call it a day there. Of course, it is going to jump in the car. Former champion back in Eastwood, though, the one that leads the way out front. And his gap already back up to 4 seconds. This is hugely impressive stuff from Charlie Eastwood. Stefan Ortelli has done a personal best, by the way, in 4th place. So I was very nervous for them. So here's a look. You can see the Lambo's gone right. Abel pulling over to the right, and at that point, hugely close. Mark Rostam would have been smashing the brake pedal there just to try and not go into the side of Abriel, and thankfully that didn't happen. So all underway now. Green flag is waving at turn 2 once again, so no problems. The car has got going once again. There's Aldo Vistante, leading by 4.5 seconds. Estragas, he is about 23 seconds back from Vistante. And in terms of pit stops, he is going to be in for 25 seconds less. So they could be very close together after the pit stops, but of course you have to take into account that the reason there's a 25-second gap, first of all, is so we could see changes there, but they might only be brief. Vistante looks like he just cannot be stopped in this championship at the moment. Huge, huge confidence matched with his ability as well. Vistante looks on track to make himself the champion in this race. 5.5 seconds, the gap between our top two, the gap between our top two in GT Cup Open Europe. As you can see, Manuel Cercada is 4 seconds. They had their challenges in this race, but Manuel Cercada doing good to stay within the 5 seconds, which is the difference in the handicap between Vistante and Cercada. So we could see a change of lead in the driver change window. Vistante is on his own in this championship, so he will just sit in the car while the teams do anything. seconds now. Really good stuff from Eastwood before he hands over to Sally Ulick. Here's Joe Osborne, who has taken over that number 72 car from Nick Moss. Downhill into the chicane. Cristani and Osborne. The next car ahead of them is Alan Coder, who is 9 seconds up the road. But we still have pit stops to be made, and that will move them up the order with the likes of Circada ahead. Negro has now rejoined the circuit. Cristani and Osborne, I'm sure they won't be hugely behind him. He's on pit out at the moment, as they can see. Negro rejoining in 6th place. I think that's 7th. Coder going through. Okay, here we go. This is the first of our leaders left on track to come in. So this is now Vincent Abriel, who's going to hand over to Louis Pret. 85 seconds is what they have to spend in the pits, exactly the same as Miguel Ramos and Enrique Chavez. Continue to watch the battle for 8th. Fabrizio Cristani ahead of Joe Osborne. With Pret, with Abriel coming in to hand over to Brett. Milroy jumps up to 3rd. They're going to be thinking of coming in either on the next lap they start or the lap they're on, because they have to be in the pits before the pit window closes. And there's only 2 minutes and 20 seconds left of that, but Osborne is trying everything he can here to get past Cristani. Just unable to find a way through so far. Bentley proving difficult to overtake as Osborne now dives down the inside of the chicane, and what a move that was. Fantastic racing. Cristani gave him racing room as well, and Joe Osborne is going to go through and up into 8th place, which will probably become 7th, with Daniel Diaz-Varela now making his way out of the pit lane. Great move that from Osborne. I thought he was going to wait until the next lap, but he felt he had the room to go for it, and so he did. Cristani tried his best to make it difficult for him, but in the end had to give that position, as we now see Charlie Eastwood getting ready to hand over to Sally Ulick. 80 seconds is their handicap time. Kaprinski is about to take over the car. Milroy is going to give over to Brendan Ereeb now as well. Here's another look at the move. So Osborne's carried more speed through that first right-hander. And at this point, you think there's absolutely no chance that's going to work, but managed to make it work. And I imagine Cristani just anticipated that as well, saw the move coming. So good driving from the pair of them, and good racing as well. And that's a change of position. Osborne getting past Cristani. Here we see Enrique Chavez, who is now jumped in that number 59 from Miguel Ramos. And once we have our 5 drivers in the pits back out on circuit, we'll know exactly where we are, and that's when we'll do a run through of the situation in terms of this race and where our championship leaders are as well. So here comes Ulick out onto the track. That looks like Kaprinski just behind him. And then as we look right, that looks like Alan Coder coming down the start-finish straight. Brendan Ereeb will be just ahead of him, 2nd in class potentially, 3rd overall. And then behind that, we have the likes of Pret, Negro and Osborne. It appears Pret has lost more time than they were due to. I mean, they had 85 seconds. And they were a good few seconds back already, weren't they, from Ulick and Eastwood? So maybe that is right, but they are not in 2nd anymore, are they? The 17 Ferrari. But ahead of them, 3 Pro-Am cars. So Pret's job is to now get those cars out of the way and try and set his sights on Sally Ulick. But Sally Ulick is a 24-hour Le Mans winner now, and made history doing that as well. Could make more history actually. Salih Ulik could become the first Turkish winner of the FIA World Endurance Championship, or of any World Championship, in fact, next time in a couple of weeks in Bahrain. As here we see Joe Osborne trying to get down the inside of Angelo Negro. There's a slight bit of contact, and Joel Osborne is going to go through. So Osborne up another place. That's going to be 6th place for him, and it could get worse for Negro here. He's got Crestani behind him now as well. Chavez 11 seconds back from this. We'll be hoping this kind of battling continues at this intensity. You can see the Bentley there of Fabrizio Crestani, the black Bentley, trying to get past this 48 Ferrari. Unable to get through though, and will probably do it on this next lap because it seems Negro's a bit rattled. Osborne, his intentions were always clear, and I wonder if there was the slightest of contacts there, but Osborne nevertheless goes through. In fact, from that angle, from a few seconds we saw, there wasn't, but Osborne takes the place, goes through. Negro has now dropped to further place. The Bentley number 26 there. Just hear the sound it makes. Beautiful car. In the pit lane, it sounds even better, I can tell you that. Here's the move that we didn't see, and Crestani down the inside there of Angelo Negro and goes through. So here is our situation with 25 minutes left on the clock in race number 1 of round 6. Salih Ulik leads the way, 4.2 seconds ahead of Pro-Am leader Patrick Kaprinski. The team chasing our leaders, number 16 in the championship, who you see on screen there. Brendan Erebe is in 3rd place. He has a half a second advantage over Alan Coder. That is the pictures on your screen currently. Louis Pret, 5th place. Then we have Joe Osborne in 6th. Fabrizio Crestani is 7th. Angelo Negro is 8th. Enrique Chavez, who is in the fight for the title lead with the number 17 of Louis Pret. They are down in 9th place. Jerome Policand is in 10th. Then it's Reece Barr on his debut. He is 11th, his first time ever racing a GT3 car, similar to what we had with Tom Canning a couple of weeks ago. Aldo Vestante leads GT Cup Open Europe, on track to become champion today, ahead of Daniel Diaz Varela. Then it's Marc Rostan, Rafael Villanueva. Sadly, Albert Estregas is in the pits, and this has been a trend from that Trans Am Euro car. Really shame to see them come into the pits, but at the very first round they had an incident in the first race, and then they came back flying through the field. Now we've got a yellow flag at turn 2, that's where we're looking, and that looks like the Lamborghini has gone off again. Marc Rostan, here we go. Marc Rostan runs wide, exactly pretty much the same incident, but this time he's in the gravel, and that could mean a safety car. Here we go, and I mean, you see the end of that, and some people will wonder, how did that get there? But yeah, just too much throttle, too much speed carried into the corner. Rostan is off. Safety car is on standby, and there's a very good chance it could come out, and that would not be good news for the TF Sport. Aston Martin out in the lead if it does. There you can see your driver points. 7 points between the top 3. Chavez Ramos leading from Pret and Abel, Ulik and Eastwood. That's before drop scores as well, and we'll go through the drop scores very shortly. Are we going to see a safety car out? It is on standby. It is prepared to come out onto the circuit if it needs to. I can see the leaders now making their way down into the chicane. So Salih Ulik is at the chicane, and the safety car has been deployed, so he'll pick up the safety car when he comes across the line. That's not good news for the Aston Martin. Ulik he's going to have 3 cars between himself and Pret, but his task of getting through is going to be difficult. Erebe is doing a brilliant job in picture here, by the way, to hold off Alan Coder, and he's managed to hold him off for long enough to get to the safety car. So good driving from Brendan Erebe, currently in a podium position, but staying there is going to be quite difficult now after the safety car. We've got Coder out, we've got Pret, Osborne out as well, and there you can see that is the Teo Martin Motorsport squad. That's Marcelo Hahn you saw there, by the way. This is good news for them. This now brings them right up to the back of Kaprinski, and with the safety car out, we might have just a little bit of time to talk championship. So, our championship leaders, 17 Pret and 59 of Chavez. They are the ones that lead the way overall. They are tied on points after drop scores. Pret and Abriel, their drop score is a 0, so they they're on 100 points even with a drop score. Adding a 5th place to their score, that brings them up to 106 points. Enrique Chavez and Miguel Ramos, currently their worst score is 4th. If they finish down in 9th, then they'll drop that score and they will stay on 108 points. That will mean they will stay in the lead by just 2 points going into tomorrow. But Pret has 3 Pro-Am cars ahead of him, which he will want to get past, and with a safety car, he may even have his eye on trying to chase down Sally Ulick, who leads the way. Now in Pro-Am, after drop scores, Marcelo Hahn is on 57, Christian Klein and Patrick Kaprinski are on 54. That is because they drop a score of 3 points. Now, if they finish where they are, then we add 2nd place, which is 8, to their 54. That brings them up to 62 points. As for Marcelo Hahn, he will be, sorry, they take the win, apologies. So we add 10 points for Klein and Kaprinski for winning. That brings them up to 64 points. The situation for Marcelo Hahn, he is dropping a score of just 1 point. And he is handed over to Alan Coder, who is currently 3rd place. So they will add 6 points to their 57, and after drop scores, that leaves them on 63 points, meaning the 2 championship leaders in Pro-Am will be tied by just 1 point, with Klein and Kaprinski leading the way. Very close, isn't it? That's it's going to be very hard to keep on top of it. I'll do the best I can for you, though, but that would be the situation going into tomorrow. If you have lost track with it already, like I have, then it's because there's so much going on in this championship and in this race. It is going to be difficult to keep up with, but I will do my best. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Thank you very much for tuning in to the live feed. We've got a hectic 20 minutes coming up. How much of that we'll have left when the safety car comes in, we'll wait to see. The marshals, very good as ever, getting to work quickly, and it looks like they've made good work, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see them, see the cars let go on this lap. There you can see there's no stranded Lamborghini now in the back of picture, and I would suspect that we're going to get going at the end of this lap. That will give us about 17 minutes. The Lamborghini's into the pits, so it has come into pit lane, and any necessary changes will now be made. There you can see it. Not been a good day for them at all, has it? You watch 3 spins now. But they've just come in to do this round, so hugely down on experience. Trying to get used to the car once again, trying to get themselves back up to speed. It's not going to be easy for them. They'll have their eyes more focused on tomorrow, I'd say. Confirmation that the safety car is in this lap, so Sally Ulick will control the pace, and the restart is going to be critical for him. Patrick Kaprinski, Christian Klein, their team's in 2nd. Kaprinski starting in 2nd place, the master of restarts already, thanks from the knowledge given to him by Christian Klein. I don't want to give away their secrets, but Christian Klein taught Patrick Kaprinski how to nail that restart, and he executed it perfectly back at Hungary to go and take the win. So he'll be ready to go on the attack of Sally Ulick if needs be. He'll be more concerned about Alan Coder, who sits in 4th. Brendan Ereep sits in 3rd place, the American. And hello to all his American viewers. He was telling me yesterday he has a lot of people tuning into the stage. So hello to all of you tuning in and supporting him. Alan Coder 4th, Pret in 5th place, with his eyes on trying to get 3 places gained out of those Pro-Am drivers who want to do that as quickly as he can to then see if he can chase down the Aston Martin of Ulick, who'll be right on board with here as they come in towards the chicane. Ulick now controlling the pace, and off he goes round the right-hander, and Sally Ulick gets us underway, and that is a very good restart, as good as what we saw from Charlie Eastwood there. Sally Ulick is now back underway as we now head on towards what will be lap number 28 of this race, and Ereep trying to get on the attack of Kaprinski. Ereep there looking left, looking right, couldn't get down the inside as we go in towards turn number 1. Brendan Ereep dives down the inside of Patrick Kaprinski, and perfect move, change of lead there in Pro-Am. and Brendan Ereeb up into second place overall and into the lead of the Pro-Am class. The Bentley in the background trying to retake Joe Osborne, who's now fighting with Louis Pret. Patrick Kaprinski, who's dropped to third place there, is now coming under pressure from Alam Koder as well. There we can see that looks to be Negro. I think we had a glimpse of there as they now come in towards what is turn number 5. All queuing up behind each other here. Ulick under pressure from Ereeb. Kaprinski in third place, then is Koder in fourth, Pret in fifth, Osborne is sixth, Crestani seventh, Chavez eighth. They're split by around 2 or 3 seconds here as they make their way back uphill, up towards the very quick turn right, which is turn number 9. The very quick right-hander as they will now go downhill. Are we going to see any lunges down the inside? They're all queuing up behind each other here. Joe Osborne, I can see in the background, trying to get down the inside. Brendan Ereeb driving down the inside of Sally Ulick, and Brendan Ereeb taking the lead of the race. What a fantastic move. Ulick dropping down the order. Kaprinski's gone up to second. Alam Koder now in the McLaren going round the outside of Sally Ulick. He's got McLarens left and right of him, and that's Alam Koder going off, and that looks to be Joe Osborne going through. Ulick coming under all sorts of pressure here. The Ferrari now trying to dive down the inside. That looks to be Pret. Ulick's had to run straight on, and Pret is now going to take the place. He's now going to lose a place to Alam Koder once again. The Bentley of Fabrizio Crestani at the back of this, the best seat in the house for him. He's now going to be on the attack there of Louis Pret as we head down the start-finish straight. Ereeb is escaping here. He's got a 1.3 second advantage to the far left of screen. Chavez in the McLaren goes down the inside of his championship rival, Louis Pret. That's a change between the two championship rivals. The Bentley running straight on. That's Fabrizio Crestani. He's now going to lose a place to the McLaren. Things have swung back in the favour here dramatically of the McLaren. Enrique Chavez is now ahead of his championship rivals. We go now in towards turn number 4. This for the second time of the restart. Big changes happening in this race. Sally Ulick is now in 4th place in the red Aston Martin there. Koder is 5th place. Chavez is in 6th place now with a car between himself and his championship rival. And Pret and Abril, they've already had one bad score this season. They've had a DNF. They cannot drop another score. Here's Joe Osborne now trying to get past Patrick Kaprinski. Kaprinski defending as best as he can. Joe Osborne, the pro in that Pro-Am team. He's now going to try and find a gap on the inside. He's looking left and right. He's found a gap on the inside, and through he goes. Kaprinski giving him the space. And now Joe Osborne could potentially be in second place. Kaprinski fighting back, though, the pair side by side. Good racing this as Kaprinski now tries to go around the outside of Joe Osborne, but Osborne is through. Right now, he'll have his eyes on race leader. The two Optimum Motorsport cars are 1 and 2 in this race. What a huge turnaround. Optimum Motorsport 1 and 2. And after the circumstances of last week where they weren't able to finish the Spa 24, this would be a fantastic result. The team having to retire early from that race. Joe Osborne being one of the drivers. Can they go on to take a 1-2 here in International GT Open? Ulick now trying to get on the recovery. He's now going to be side by side potentially with Kaprinski. Koder third in this queue. He is in the title fight in Pro-Am. He is leading that Pro-Am class with Marcelo Hahn, and their championship rival is just one car ahead of them. He's got Ulick between himself and his championship rival, which is Patrick Kaprinski and Christian Klein. 13 minutes remaining in this race. Things changing all the time. Looking to the bottom right of your screen, you can see there's now 9 points between Chavez and Ramos. The gap is extending there between those two. Things not helping Ulick and Eastwood either after the difficult restart to the race that they've had. Ereeb is extending his lead out front as well. He's got a gap now of 2.5 seconds as Brendan Ereeb over his teammate Joe Osborne. Uphill they go. Here's Kaprinski in the gold and black colours. This is Alam Koder now side by side almost with Sally Ulick as we now drop back downhill. Can Alam Koder find a way past Sally? Oh, we've got someone almost running wide in the background, but coming into view here we can see the red Aston Martin there of Ulick ahead of Alam Koder. Chavez is in 6th place. He's coming under pressure from Pret, the two title rivals right together on circuit here. Chavez versus Pret as they now come round and towards the chicane. Can Pret try and make a move down the inside? Here we go, up towards the chicane now. Chavez has anticipated it. He defends. Pret's going to have to try and get the switchback going onto the start-finish straight. They've got the Bentley closing in behind, and they've also got the Honda NSX Evo closing in behind as well. 12 minutes to go in this race. We've got incidents coming under investigation, but no penalties have been awarded just yet. We're side by side there. You can see Chavez in the McLaren just pulling over to the left-hand side as we look down the circuit. There's the Bentley now trying to get on the attack of Pret. How have they found themselves in this position? Always going well. It was Aston Martin in first and Ferrari in second. Now they are all the way down in 4th and 7th place. Ulick has time to try and recover this race. Erib is being caught by Joe Osborne. We head down towards turn number 5 then, just trying to look at that car of Joe Osborne has been on the podium. He and Nick Moss have been on the overall podium, but they certainly haven't taken a win in this championship. They've been on the podium a couple of times at Paul Ricard and at Monza as well, but they haven't taken an overall win. Can they do that here today? Yannick Medler, his teammate Fabrizio Crestani in view there. Coming under attack now from the Honda NSX Evo. Just over 10 minutes to go in this race. What a fantastic race it has turned into. A hectic restart. Have changed things dramatically here. Car of Brendan Erib and Ollie Milroy, that has not been on the overall podium, but we're side by side, our 2 championship rivals making contact. Oh, that's going to be Louis Pret now diving down the inside of Enrique Chavez and makes the move, but there was a little bit of contact there. Enrique Chavez will not be pleased with that as all, as we now come out of the chicane and make our way around the final corner. There didn't look to be any space there, but there was space found by Pret. Let's have a look at it. So coming around the right-hander here, Chavez has run wide there. Pret's found a gap on the inside. And I'd say personally that was just a racing instant for me. So Pret found a gap on the inside. He's in a title battle. He's got to go for it, hasn't he? Here's Brendan Erib leading Joe Osborne. Optimum Motorsport 1 and 2. Keep it clean, guys, as they now come down towards turn number 4. Is Erib just going to move over here, I wonder, and let Joe Osborne through? Or is he going to try and fight this all the way to the end? Kaprinski in 4th place now. In 3rd place, sorry, Coder is 4th, Ulick is 5th, Pret is 6th, Chavez in 7th, Crestani 8th, Reece Barr is in 9th place. Here's a replay. There we can see Kaprinski here just getting it a little bit wrong, having to run over the curb. And, oh, wrong place, wrong time there for Sally Ulick. He had to go wide in avoidance, and that's how Alan Coder got that 4th place from him, and they're going to lose further positions on. In fact, this is Ulick trying to get on the attack here of Alan Coder as they now make their way uphill. Apologies, that is Pret that has come past Ulick. Sunlight making it quite difficult to spot who that was. Up ahead, we're side by side, coming in towards the braking zone. This is Alan Coder going down the inside of Patrick Kaprinski, and we've got 3 Pro-Am cars on the overall podium. What a strange race this is. Wow, I don't believe what I'm seeing here, but Coder is up into 3rd. Here are the 2 Optimum Motorsport cars. Erib still leading Joe Osborne as we now come through the chicane and make our way onto the start-finish straight. We've got the AM driver in the 7 leading the way, the Pro in the 72 car in chase. That means that Erib's task is going to be hugely difficult. Here is the Ulick battle now with Chavez behind. So Pret has got himself up to 5th place and now has a car between himself and his championship rival, which is Chavez. Down the start-finish straight we go. Ulick there to the right of screen in the red Aston Martin. Chavez trying to get through. Reece Barr, young Reece Barr, just tucked in behind this on his first race in a GT3 car. Reece Barr finds himself in a fight with 2 championship rivals. Great stuff there from Reece Barr as we now come up towards turn number 4. We wait to see the battle coming into view. There it is now. There we can see the Aston Martin leading the way, the McLaren in the middle, the Honda NSX Evo just behind this. 7 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock. If Chavez finishes where he is, that score will be dropped. That'll bring them back up to 108 points. If Pret and Abril finish where they are, then they will score 6 points. That will bring them up to 106. That'll mean that we have a 2-point difference between our top two in the championship going into tomorrow. And I think E-Reed may have run slightly wide there. Osborne's going to be to the left of screen, diving down the inside. E-Reed trying to defend it. Osborne trying to go around the outside. He's run off the circuit and he's going to have to tuck back in behind. E-Reed is not going to give this one up. He's going to fight this to the very end. He's run a little bit wide there. Osborne couldn't find a gap on the inside, and E-Reed holds on to the lead of the race. Leading class, leading overall race. Osborne in second place. Very nervous faces, I wonder, down at Optimum Motorsport. I don't think they'll be able to watch. There's a mistake there from Joe Osborne. He's now going to lose a gap to Brendan E-Reed as we now go down the start, finish straight. Alan Coder is in third. He's hoping, please guys, keep battling. I might be able to get in this. Oh no, our championship leader has one ride, and Reese Barr is going to go through. Reese Barr will go into 7th place here, I think, as we go down towards turn number 1. The Honda NSX is to the left of screen, Chavez is to the right, and Reese Barr goes through. One thing I must say at this point is the new entries to this round do not score any points, so theoretically, in terms of points, Chavez will still be in 7th place. Reese Barr may be in 7th on track, but points-wise, Chavez will still be 7th, so he won't be too concerned with that. It seems that E-Reed may be struggling with his tyres a little bit. Oh, side-by-side contact there with the two Optimum Motorsport cars. Osborne trying to get the switchback, and I think he's found the gap. E-Reed trying to come over to close the gap down, but that looks like Osborne has just done enough. They're going to be side-by-side into 7. E-Reed trying to go around the outside, and he's managed to hold on. E-Reed is going to be in the lead potentially as we go up towards turn number 9. They're going to be side-by-side. Osborne round the outside. Can he take the lead of the race round the outside? Yes, he does. Osborne into the lead of the race. He's now to the right of picture. We've got E-Reed to the left, and we've got a McLaren closing in very quickly. The Teo Martin Motorsport McLaren closing in here. E-Reed now in second, Osborne in the lead of the race, Alan Coder in chase here. So this is going to be even more difficult now for E-Reed. He's going to have to try and get back past Joe Osborne because Alan Coder is closing in rapidly now with the battling going on. The gap has come down by almost 2 seconds, if not 3, on this lap as we now come out of the chicane and now down the start finish straight. And this is very good news for Pret as well. Louis Pret in the title fight with Chavez. He's now in 4th place and he's closing in on this gap. If he can get up into 3rd, then he will take the lead of the championship going into tomorrow. Currently, with Pret in 4th, our 2 championship leaders will be tied on points going into tomorrow. Here is Kaprinski now trying to hold off the likes of Ulick. We've got Reese Barr behind there as well. We've got Miguel, we've got Enrique Chavez running wide, and we've got Fabrizio Crestani now trying to get through. Swinging back in the favour once again of the Ferrari, the number 17 Ferrari here, who's closing in on the battle for 2nd place. Ulick trying to dive down the inside of Kaprinski, can't quite get through. 4 minutes plus a lap to go as we now head round and towards turn number 5. There's the switchback move from Ulick, trying to get down the inside of Kaprinski, can't quite make it. These two cars colliding with each other earlier in the race. In fact, that was the McLaren, apologies, but Kaprinski, that car has been involved in one incident today already. Through turn number 7 and 8. Reese Barr in just behind this. He's trying to put the pressure on Sally Ulick, a 24-hour of Le Mans winner and a kid racing in GT3s for the first time. Now trying to get past as we now head downhill and towards turn number 10. Kaprinski has his hands full here. He's got Ulick, Barr, Chavez, Crestani and Jerome Policat now all queuing up behind him. Just over 3 minutes left in this race. We're going to have a couple of laps to go. We've got 34 and 88 coming under investigation as well. There'll be a few investigations for this race as Brendan E-Reed having to defend. Oh dear, he's run wide. Brendan E-Reed now going to be side by side with Coder, and now he's going to have Louis Pret closing in as well. Is the dream of the overall podium for that number 7 car going to be fading away in the background? We've got Kaprinski now trying to hold off Ulick, Barr as well as they make their way down the start finish straight. Osborne has opened up a gap of just over 3 seconds, so we might get a pro driver on the podium after all. Down towards the first corner, Ulick diving down the inside. Oh no, that's E-Reed. Brendan E-Reed has spun round. He's stuck at turn number 2, and Brendan E-Reed stranded at the 2nd corner there. It's all gone wrong for Brendan Erie. What a shame. Yellow flags have come out now at turn 2. Louis Pret will go into 3rd place, and that will put Ulick up into 4th, Kaprinski up to 5th, Rees-Barr up to 6th place. What a shame for Brendan Erie. We didn't say if that was a mistake or if there was indeed any contact. If it was picked up, I'm sure we'll see a replay, but here we can see Chavez in the McLaren, the Bentley trying to get past, which is Crestani, and indeed we have picked it up. Erie ran wide and just lost the car. What a shame for Brendan Erie. Well, he did take a lot of life out of the tyres in the fight there for the lead. And the Optimum team can't believe it, absolutely gutted. Erie has spun round. What a disaster. Here's the Honda NSX Evo to the right of screen, trying to dive down the inside of Kaprinski. Can't quite get through. 90 seconds are remaining now in this race as we head up towards the right-hander. Kaprinski, Barr, Chavez, Crestani, Jerome Policand in that order. As we see on screen, it appears Erie's got going, but down in 10th place. You got to feel for them after he led the race for so long and held off his teammate. What a shame. I'm sure they'll fight back tomorrow, but round the final corner, we're going to go on to the final lap of the race. It's Joe Osborne that is leading the way from Alam Kodair. 2 Pro-Am cars, 1st and 2nd overall in this race. We've got Louis Pret up in 3rd place. That will give them the lead of the championship, but only by 2 points. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic recovery from Louis Pret. Rees-Barr running a little bit wide there. He's now going to come under pressure. The slowing car is a lapped car. We've got Aldo Vistante, who could crown himself the champion as well. I'm sure we'll pick that up as well. If he beats Daniel Diaz-Varela to the line, he will become champion. He has a 2.7 second advantage. This is Chavez. If they finish where they are, then this score will be dropped from them, which will keep them on their original score of 108 points. Crestani behind, just 2 tenths behind, trying to get through. But here is your overall leader, Joe Osborne, making his way round turn number 9 and down towards turn number 10. They've been on the overall podium twice. Their best result, a 2nd overall back at Paul Ricard. Fantastic performance that was from them, but they look like they are about to take their very first win of the season. Optimum Motorsport rounding now the long right-hander before they make their way to the last technical section of the circuit, and Joe Osborne is getting ready to take victory. And after the dramas for them at the Spa 24-hour last weekend, this is going to be a result that is going to feel very, very good. Round the final corner, they come up for the first time since the Red Bull Ring last year. Joe Osborne is going to put Optimum Motorsport on the top step of the podium. Across the line he goes, and Joe Osborne wins here in Barcelona. Alan Kodair will go into 2nd, and 3rd place will be Louis Pret, but only just ahead of Sally Ulick. Patrick Kaprinski is 5th. Rees-Barr is in 6th place, Chavez 7th, Crestani 8th, Policand 9th, and Brendan Erie, after fighting for the lead, what a shame, he will finish in 10th place overall. Negro will finish in 11th place. Where is Aldo Vistante? It looks like he's about to crown himself the champion of GT Cup Open Europe. All will be official, of course, when we cross the line tomorrow. But Aldo Vistante, well, here he is. Aldo Vistante on his 6th win in a row. He looks like he's going to wrap up the GT Cup Open Europe title. Every time he's finished a race, bar the first race, he has won. He had that one DNF at Paul Ricard, but other than that, it's been a 3rd, and all wins from there. And on his 6th win in a row, Aldo Vistante looks like he's about to become the 2nd champion of GT Cup Open Europe. Round the final corner, he comes, the team awaits him, and Aldo Vistante is going to take his 6th win, and he is your champion in GT Cup Open Europe. Fantastic from the young Italian. Daniel Diaz-Varela will finish in 2nd place. 3rd will be Rafael Villanueva. Sadly, we lost Albert Estragas earlier in the race. What a race that was. That is race of the season. If anyone was to argue me with that, I would spend all night arguing the case, I'll tell you that. Nick Moss and Joe Osborne are your overall winners for the first time. What a performance from them. Marcelo Hahn and Alan Kodair, I slightly didn't give them as much credit as they deserve, because championship-wise, that is a hugely critical result for them, and they now extend their advantage over Prachka Koprinski and Christian Kleen and do it with an overall podium. Fantastic performance from the number 16 there. That matches their best result from Red Bull Ring. Louis Pret third, Sally Ulick fourth, Reece Barr fifth. Brilliant performance from young Reece Barr. Look forward to seeing him in qualifying and starting the race tomorrow. Enrique Chavez sixth, Fabrizio Crestani seventh, Jerome Polican eighth, Koprinski, Irieb, Negro, Vestante, Diaz Varela, Rostan, Villanueva, Estragas. Enrique Chavez, Miguel Ramos at this stage lead the championship, but after drop scores, things just look a little bit different. Louis Pret and Vincent Abril finishing in second place in the championship. Well, what a race that was. Whew. Fantastic stuff. Marcelo Hahn knows that was an important result. Championship-wise, that's given them even more of an advantage now, with Kleen and Koprinski finishing fifth in class. They get 3 points. Marcelo Hahn and Alam Coder get 8 points, so they have a further 5-point advantage going into tomorrow. Takes that up to an 8-point advantage, and that's almost the championship. That's one hand very much on the title for them. Nick Moss going over to Joe Osborne. What a race that was. Fantastic stuff from them, and he can't believe it. He absolutely can't believe it. That race could have gone in so many directions. It changed on multiple occasions, but they took the opportunities that fell their way, and they made the most of them. And Joe Osborne takes the overall race win alongside Nick Moss. Started from 8th on the grid as well. Odds on that would have been pretty high. That's nothing against those guys, but from 8th on the grid, that is a very good performance. Here's your champion, GT Cup Open Europe 2020, Aldo Bastante. His 6th win of the season. Did it in style. What a performance from Aldo Bastante. Someone who's come up from the Euro Formula Open. You've got to feel pleased for him. I spoke to him at the drivers' briefing, actually, and he very excited for this weekend. Joe Osborne had to fight with the other Optimum Motorsport car to do it. But fantastic from them. They go on to take the victory. And Aldo Bastante becomes your champion. Let's recap our top 3 then. They had to recover very hard late in the race to do it, but a good recovery from Louis Pret and Vincent Abril. They finish in 3rd place, and the title race very much alive and swinging slowly in their favour. Finishing in 2nd place and taking the lead, extending their lead in Pro-Am, is Marcelo Hahn and Alam Coder. But your overall winners, it's the first time they've been on the overall podium. Pro-Am drivers Nick Moss and Joe Osborne win by 3 seconds. Let's go down and hear what they have to say.
Nick Moss, Joe Osborne. I'm not sure you were the pair expected here on the overall, but here you are, and what a race, what a final part of the race. Nick, tell us about the start, the first thing.
The start was pretty. I didn't make any places up, but it was nice and tight, and it was clean, and everybody was pretty sensible actually. Although it appeared like it was going to be a bit more sort of frantic than it actually transpired to be. So it was pretty cool. And then obviously everything stretched out. Then the safety car, and then my job was done really. I kind of just chucked him the keys, and all the exciting part was in his bit.
And then it was total craziness in the second stint, but you made it.
Yeah, I think craziness is the best adjective to use, and I'm sure the TV looked crazy, but in the car it felt genuinely crazy. It was hard, but for everything I saw, it was fair, so congratulations to everyone I was around. And honestly, I've never seen a performance like Brendan had out there, so racing hard with a teammate. A sister is always difficult, but he gave really hard and really fair, and yeah, just thank you for Optimum. It's a shame we didn't get the 1-2, but we got one race tomorrow to rectify that.
Good, well done. Enjoy the moment, guys.
Well, fantastic to hear from our winners, Joe Osborne and Nick Moss. I don't think they can still believe that, but a fantastic race. But we've crowned a champion today, and a convincing champion as well. He's absolutely deserved it. Aldo Vestante is your champion of GT Cup Open Europe, and we're going to be hearing from him very shortly. I'm sure celebrations
Aldo
on. Here he is.
Festante. Are we Festante or?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, we are. Finally, it's done. So we brought it home. We gave everything. Everything went to plan. I have to thank the team. I have to thank my family. It was a wonderful championship. We won, like, I think seven races out of 9. So I'm just super happy. Just tomorrow I want to enjoy it once again, and I'm super happy. I just can't describe the feeling. European champion, like, what else?
Well done. Now podium.
Well, where do we start with this one? It had so much action. Race of the season got underway with Charlie Eastwood leading the way out front. We saw Charlie Eastwood under pressure from the Ferrari of Vincent Abreu as they made their way in towards turn number 1. Ollie Milroy got third, snatching it away from Christian Clean. A race that had many troubles was the number 4, the Golden Lambo, and unfortunately that would be the first of 3 spins, 2 of them bringing out safety cars. On the first safety car restart, a very good restart from our top 3. A back marker caused Ramos to be delayed, and further troubles for him. He would run wide at the start of the restart and lose 3 more positions. One of the moves of the race, Joe Osborne diving down the inside there of Fabrizio Castani, and would do many more on his route to the win. This was the second of the spins, that one bringing out a further safety car. And on the restart, Sally Ulick absolutely nailed it, but Brendan Ereeb diving down the inside, catching all of us out, Sally included, and he would go through to take the lead of the race. As Louis Brett fought hard with Ulick, he would lose time and positions, and that would open up the race dramatically. Out front we had our championship rivals coming together, side-by-side contact there as Louis Pret went past Enrique Chavez. A huge moment in the race that could be pivotal as Pret and Abreu now lead after drop scores. But the 2 Optimum Motorsport cars fought tooth and nail. Brendan Ereeb holding off Joe Osborne for a number of laps, but sadly things would end dramatically for him after he had a spin down at turn number 1 and would eventually finish in 10th place there. You can see the stricken Ereeb car, a real disappointment, but he put in a very good performance. Out front though, Optimum Motorsport on the top step once again, and Joe Osborne would bring the car home. He and Nick Moss taking their first overall victory and their 3rd overall podium. Behind we crowned a champion as well, out of Estante, taking the championship title in GT Cup Open Europe. So, podium to the right of screen there, we can see Louis Pret and Vincent Abreu on drop scores. By my maths, they lead the overall standings by just 2 points going into tomorrow. That recovery critical in that. Extending their advantage in the Pro-Am title race, it's now up to 8 points, and Alan Coder and Marcelo Hahn, your leaders in that, with 2nd place overall. Alan Coder, can't get him off the podium, is 5th in as many races. But your overall winners, Optimum Motorsport, Joe Osborne and Nick Moss, standing on the top step. Optimum Motorsport to your left. We'll pause very shortly for our national anthems. There we have it, Optimum Motorsport on the top step. They won the 200th race of the season back at the Red Bull Ring last year. Was privileged to be able to call that one, and they are back on the top step of the overall podium once again. Brilliant stuff. If you're not, there's no excuses not to be back tomorrow. The season will be concluded tomorrow and we will crown all of our champions. 2 points between the top two on drop scores. Make sure you join us from 2 local time. The grid will be set with qualifying at 9:35 local time here in Spain. Until then, it's goodbye.